How'd you get here?
So I've been playing Shadowwrong and Sonic Omens this entire time. For those of you that have been kind of following along, seeing what I do in this series, you'll have noticed that I have not been switching between its Chaos abilities, because at some point, I accidentally turned off the tutorials, and it completely bungled the whole experience, and I just didn't know that you could switch between these things. So, a lot of my playthrough was kind of mixed with this misunderstanding of what these abilities did and when I could use them and the freeform nature of it. Just a lot of shit going on that kind of bungled things. By the way, look, it's Vector in the computer room. Real fans will get it! I just kind of wanted to show that off. But I want to spend this episode kind of going through one of the Shadow levels as Shadow, using the Chaos ability to switch, specifically the level that I think gets the most benefit out of it, Gun Arsenal. And then we're going to go through a completely different level, Shadow level of Sonic, the Untitled Railroad, or I think that's what it was called. And we're gonna see if what people have been saying in the comments where these stages are more fun as Sonic is actually true. Spoiler alert, kind of, but also kind of not. But we'll get to that when we get to that. TLDR, for what I think the level does right when interacting with the Chaos abilities and what I think it does wrong, right? You can circumvent a lot of annoying bullshit with these Chaos abilities. So for example, you saw earlier in the stage at the very start, you can kind of deal with a lot of enemies at once by using Chaos Blast. That tends to help in a lot of circumstances. That's probably the most useful ability that you have. And then you have this Chaos Dash ability, which is really useful for platforming and really useful for skipping these kind of annoying bullshit sections where you just sit and you wait, and that's the entire thing. You only really get use out of these on consecutive playthroughs. I think on your first playthrough of this shit, even if you know that you can switch through these abilities, you are realistically not going to get a whole lot of mileage out of the Chaos Dash, because you are Chaos Dashing upwards in a lot of scenarios where you don't know what's above you, and it doesn't really give you that like any insane amount of mobility after using it. So like, yes, you can circumvent a lot of annoying bullshit platforming. You can't circumvent it on the first playthrough, though. And there's this kind of weird segment of the Sonic fanbase that always talks about replayability, and I get it a lot. Replaying levels is what makes a lot of Sonic stages really fun, and there are a lot of people that play levels, judge them on a first run, and then, you know, never go back to them, whatever. So, like, people are getting a lot of value out of replaying these levels, and then, you know, other people play it one time, don't get that value out of it, and then shit talk the level, and some people that really, I don't know, get value out of the replayability of it have problems with that. But you gotta keep in mind, right? Why would someone want to replay a Sonic level? Is it because they played through it the first time and they were like, oh, that was dog shit, maybe it'll get better when I slam my head into a wall and play through it a bunch of times? No. Guys, a level has to be fun, frame one, off rip, for people to be like, oh fuck, yeah, I can see some cool visions with this, I had a great time playing through this shit, let me play through it again. Replayability is a lot, and if you can't replay through Sonic levels, then yeah, you're probably not going to get a whole lot out of that specific level in the future, but the level has to be fun off rip. You can't just sit there and be like, well, it's really fun when you replay it 15 times. Oh, well, it fucking sucks the first time. I'm not gonna replay something that sucks dick. Like, if I didn't have fun, I'm not gonna be like, all right, well, time to play it 15 times so that I can have fun. No, fuck no! It has to be fun from the start. You guys are fucking insane if you don't think that. Replayability matters too, but it's not the only thing that matters. You're fucking, it's 50-50. Alright? First playthrough needs to be gas, but the replayability also needs to be gas too. That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, Gun Arsenal is really the level that gets the most benefit out of Shadow's Chaos abilities, in my opinion, just because you can skip through a lot of those bullshit sections. Again, you shouldn't really have to go through them in the first place, and at what point is it a band-aid covering up dog shit design, and at what point should you just still be able to have fun running through the level with the abilities kind of being a cherry on top rather than a necessity to make the stage kind of fun to run through. Whatever. It is what it is. This level with Sonic is honestly pretty cool, and I like it a lot. Does it make it better than with Shadow? I don't really know. I really don't know. Because there are still parts in the end where, like, yeah, you really want to have the fucking chaos control ability to not rip your hair out with those train sections, and it is what it is. But, like, at the end of the day, here's what my personal take on this is. I think that the bounce alone makes Sonic more fun to string things together with than Shadow and his entire Chaos ability arsenal. I don't know if that's going to be a hot take, but I swear to God, the limited nature of Shadow's Chaos abilities, because he has to have this kind of band-aid of, oh, you either have to kill a fuck ton of enemies, which really don't give you that much Chaos ability, so you have to kill a bunch of them to make it valuable. And at that point, it's like, okay, Chaos Blast tears through things, but what's the fucking point? Like, you just have to homing attack everything. It's a boring way to build up Chaos ability. And then, again, the band-aid to that, oh, look, there are these fucking Chaos capsules that are strewn around for when you have to use the Chaos ability. Again, a band-aid solution to the level design requiring a lot of these Chaos abilities to simply get through it, rather than, I think, the way that would have been better, kind of having them on top as this cherry, where, yes, you can go through the stages without using specific Chaos abilities. Will it be fun? Maybe not. Will it be doable? Yes, it will be doable. I think that's kind of my take on that, and I think forcing people to use these Chaos abilities just kind of, it bungles the whole experience. So, TLDR, I think the bounce is a much more fun way to interact with kind of these aerial chain combo things, and I think the result is that Sonic is a faster, more fun, more fluid experience, whereas Shadow feels very just disjointed, and very, like, I don't know, it's just not fun switching between his Chaos abilities, especially on controller, because you have to fucking take your hand off or claw grip, and there's a lot of shit that just doesn't work, right? And Sonic doesn't have those issues. Sonic can get through these levels just fine, in ways that I think showcase his flow, showcase the game's ability to have really fun and unique flow with its level designs better than Shadow ever could. And I think Shadow is just a slower, less fun version of Sonic as a result. You can do cool shit with his Chaos abilities. I think things like Gun Arsenal benefit the most from that. But, oh my god, dude. Okay, I tried to run through this fucking stage, Unnamed Railroad, whatever it's called, Temp Railroad, TL, like, whatever. I tried to run through this shit with Shadow. It was probably the most unfun shit on a second playthrough I have ever experienced. Like, if anything, playing through this section, again, by the way, I skipped past this, because I know Sonic has that fucking SA1 ability, SA2, whatever, his SA1 kill all the enemy ability, that actually broke my controls somehow. Like, I couldn't jump, I couldn't boost, so they just fucking murked me over and over again for a long time. So, like, whatever. By the way, there's a good example of the bounce just being more fun to deal with. Like, now you can just do this shit, bounce up. I still think this level design fucking sucks in this specific section. Like, it's a lot of, you fall, you do it all over, you run back, do it again, you bounce. There's not a whole lot of interesting shit going on here. Not with Sonic, not with Shadow. Playing as Sonic doesn't fix this level design. Playing with Shadow doesn't make it any better. This part of the level just fucking sucks. TLDR. I think this is a fucking dumbass, head-ass design. But playing through this and trying to get a perfect run on it, or trying to get a even remotely okay run on it, was actual hell on earth. Because remember that thing I was talking about in the last episode, where I was like, this could be really fucking cool, but it's so long. It's so fucking long. Going back and playing this made that just hit home even more. I am never going to touch this stage again, because this shit took me 7 to 8 fucking minutes to run through again. Ignoring maybe the minute and a half, 2 minutes I spent on the earlier section, that's still like 6 minutes to run through this entire stage. That is insanely long. That is asinine. So, to the fucking people that left me comments in the last video, you know who you are, where you were like, you can't talk about the length of the stage, because, actually, you haven't played through the entire stage over and over and over again, so you don't know what a perfect run of this stage feels like. You can't talk about the length. First of all, fucking head-ass take. Yes, I can talk about the length of the stage being too long, because if a first playthrough of a stage is 9 fucking minutes long, that's still a problem. And second of all, if my fucking second playthrough of the stage is still 8 minutes long, that's a fucking problem. TLDR, TLDR, these stages are way too fucking long, and it makes perfect running them or playing through them again just completely unfun. So, a lot of my opinions just got reinforced by this extra playthrough. And then here's the fucking part where I just, for some goddamn reason, OBS didn't record the audio for the game. So I'm just gonna give you a TLDR of everything that happened, because this was a goddamn movie episode. 20 minutes of cutscenes, pretty much. So there was this cutscene in the beginning, I wasn't paying attention, whatever, Maria pops up, Maria, whatever. And then there was this boss fight, the metal bullshitter, and it was this aerial thing, and it was probably one of the better bosses in the game, which isn't saying too much, but it still fucking sucked because he didn't take a whole lot of damage each cycle, and a lot of his moves, they would have to tell you how to avoid them with these little pop-ups that would show up on screen because it was not visually clear how to avoid them. So like there's a giant blue laser that you were supposed to roll under, and like, okay, that's all good and dandy, that happens a lot in Sonic bosses, but like, make it obvious. Make it fucking obvious what you're supposed to do. Don't just... The fact that you needed these little ding, you know, here, you're supposed to do this thing indicators, is evidence of something not working visually with the boss design. Like, there's just... something's not connecting. You shouldn't need that shit in the first place. And then there was even more cutscene. We ran through this fucking long hallway of nothing where you couldn't boost, couldn't bounce, I mean, you couldn't do shit, pretty much. And then you saw Chris, and then we cut to Eggman exposition about something he died, and, you know, whatever. A lot of bullshit, pretty much. If you care about the story, I'm sorry. This is not the playthrough for you. I've been talking over it the entire time. And if anything, the fact that we played through so much content today already is enough of a win for me that I kind of don't care that we lost all this. I was honestly confused how I was going to make this entire video interesting, so maybe the fact that it got bungled in the transition period in OBS, or I don't know, whatever the fuck happened, you know, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. But that's the entire thing. You didn't miss that much. A lot of story, annoying-ass boss fight where I tweaked out a little bit, but was more apathetic to it than anything, and more story. So, we're done. Next episode, we get to the actual tweak-out territory, and hopefully y'all enjoy that shit.